Good morning, Pokefans. Welcome back to a brand new video. My name is Matt, and we are finally going to be filming a VGC video. Now, I know it's been a while since I've done this, right? But allow me to explain what's been going on the last few days. I mentioned this in the ZA recordings, but I don't know if any of you guys have watched all of it. I mean, there's a lot of hours. I don't want to say hundreds because I'm not that far into the game. Well, at this point in time, I've beaten the game. However, the reason why I was not able to record any type of VGC content is because my mom was in the hospital. She had gotten admitted from the ER Monday night last week and was pretty much in the hospital since. And I wasn't able to really record anything that did not allow me just to push pause like so. Oops, wrong button. Like do this or do this or whatever, and then allowed me to just walk away from the system for hours at a time. Can't do that when I'm recording VGC content. However, now that that whole thing is done, or at least it's dying down, I'm now able to record VGC content. And I have been gone for a little bit longer than what I would like to realistically have been. What I would like to do is figure out one, what the season is going to be like, what the teams are going to be looking like, and then build it right here with you guys live. Because I go on to Cerebi and I see that everything is switched over to Regulation F, but I don't know if that's the current regulation that we are going to be experiencing online. If it is Regulation F, yes, awesome. We can continue doing what with a brand new team because everything is going to change. If we're still in J, we may not make any big changes, but we're going to figure that out and we're going to do it live, like I said. So first, let's go ahead and claim what we got from last season in the ranked battles. I know that we were pretty high rated. I want to say top 7, might be a little less. Start out with rank. Top 5,312 is what we ended at, and then we can see what on the screen what we've earned, which is going to be 300k league points, 5 sour Herba Mysticas, 2 lore balls, 1 gold cap, 3 bottle caps, and 1 ability patch, which is why I like playing the ranked battles. All of these things help me build team. And I would like to have a video for you guys to see what it would take for me, someone that is working a full-time job and does YouTube on the side and has like a podcast that might be coming back here pretty soon. I would say at the beginning of the next year in 2026. And doing second channel stuff with horror games, co-op games, all this other stuff that I was never able to sit down and record for this channel for Search 125, but now I have Search Max. So I've got a lot of projects on my plate and a lot of discerning what is important for my time and then what's not. And then trying to learn everything on top of that, which is like filmmaking, transitions, like different stuff. As a solo person who runs both channels, I want to know how things can be done in a way that makes it easy and obviously, build my skill set up. I know that I've been doing YouTube for quite a while. I graduated from film school quite a while ago, but I also feel like I am exercising my muscles, but I'm not really pushing them, which is why I try to take time over the weekends when I'm not doing mandatory Saturdays and when I'm not doing like 10-hour shifts, which that was last week. And I'm so glad that we're not being forced to do that now, but that might change in a couple of weeks because now we're getting to the holiday season. Because of which, I want to try to learn different things and try to get other projects that I could just kind of move and use whenever I'd like. And if we can do that, awesome. I would love to show you guys that progress later on. Right now, not important. So first question, what regulation are we in and how the team is going to perform after this? So let's get back, let's get into the ranked battles, and then we're going to click double. We're not going to join anything. Okay, so it looks like our team is still legal because if we go to edit team, we can see everyone here is perfectly available to do it. We can clearly see it on this screen here. What are we going to do to make changes to the team? I did not like Rotom on the team whatsoever. I thought that Pokemon was not realistically fast to do anything. So what I would like to do instead is obviously remove him from the squad. He's not like a really good fit. So I like to try to have my water, fire, grass core, and I have my grass and my water type. I also don't like the fact that Ogerpon, while this set is really, really interesting, I think that it can get shut down pretty easily by Calyrexes right now. So we're actually going to swap this back out. We're going to turn this into our fire type that we're used to. And because we don't lose our item, we don't lose our effects of said item, we're just going to sacrifice the speed boost and the swagger offense that we had before to go a little bit more something into what we're used to now. Now, why we're doing this is because of the fact of we ran into a Calyrex who obviously did that and made it really hard for us, the player, to come back from that. So because we did that, we're gonna put Rotom back. I believe his spot, I think. Oh, okay. He was probably like right here. Anyway, we'll put him back in his spot. So now we have a fire, water, grass core, which is perfect. I also like to have evened out physical attackers and special attackers. Right now, the item for Calyrex is not correct. So we need to also make that change too. And we also don't need to have swagger on Tornadus. Now we are making these changes because one, Calyrex, either ice or shadow, is going to be using Unnerve, which means that swagger right now doesn't really help us, and we're not going to put us into a position where swagger can actually make it really, really hard for us to do anything later on. So what I would like to do instead, because I don't want to just automatically put Whimsicott back up there, right? I don't want that to be the option. Instead, I want to try to build upon the team. The item for Calyrex doesn't work, obviously. We went with the Wide's Lens, which boosted our special attacks, but I believe that's a 10% boost. And I'm going to check that out real fast because I want to say that that's the case. Where is there we go. I have everything saved in tabs. Wise Glasses, this is a 10% boost. Yes. So it raises special attacks by 10%, which is obviously worse than Life Orb and worse than like any type of other thing. Like if I wanted to boost its psychic type move, we can go with the bent spoons. Now spoons are, I think, 20%. Let's see, are they actually called bent spoons? I want to say yes. Up to B. It's not black glasses. No, we're gonna go, it's not. So roll F. Twisted Spoon, there we go. So that raises special psychic type moves. Let's see, in gold, silver, crystal, ruby. Okay, so in gold, silver, crystal, ruby, sapphire, emerald, fire, red, and leaf green, it's only a 10% boost. Everywhere else, it's 20% boost. So we could do that. We can also go with a plate. Spooky will also give us that same amount for ghost type moves, and we can also use it for Arceus to make it to a ghost type Pokemon. Scope Lens to make the crit hit ratio go up one stage. That's automatically given and nothing too special there. Red card is also a good one. Don't think the Reaper Cloth does anything. Nope. Okay, so it just evolves someone. Yeah, so what I'm trying to do is prevent Calyrex from holding an item that would realistically lock it down to a certain attack. And since we have Tornadus in the party, who is obviously using the Sash, we don't really want to have two Pokemon that could potentially use the Sash. Now, Calyrex's stats, I believe, have changed. Did we change it? We did not make any. Okay, good. We did not make any changes. I kept with the 252 build because I wanted to be able to outspeed everyone else, but we did change the Terra type to Dark so that we don't get super affected by other Calyrexes. We actually resist a lot of it, and we don't have to worry about knockoff. We could go with the Assault Vest, which makes it so that we live a lot of special type attacks, which is really, really great, but we're not doing that one either. Instead, because I know I have Imprisoned, which was a really weird it was a weird pick. I just wanted to try it out to see if it would work, and it was really, really funny. The whole thing of having Imprison, Protect, Psychic, and Astral Barrage is to really take down of the mirror matches, but they still carry around Shadow Ball, and because of that, it makes it really, really hard for us to counteract that. So instead, what I would like to do I mean, the King's Rock would be interesting, but it doesn't do anything for us. I mean, we could go with the Life Orb. No one on our team really has that item, as we currently see on the screen. Tornadus needs a new move as well, so let's go ahead and start working on Tornadus first. That way we kind of get everything ready. So like Calyrex, Terra is fine. His item needs to be replaced, but the moveset here is important for us. We can go Scary Face. That makes it so that we can make someone move slower than us, which actually would really help. We can go Icy Wind to lower down the opponent speed by 1 stage. Taunt would also be really good. Rain Dance to change the weather in case of like we use excuse me, Urshifu, and we have to deal with Koraidons, which may or may not be like a really good pick here. We can also do Uproar so that, you know, we can make Pokemon wake up if they're asleep. Air Slash is something that we could do. Agility is something that we could do. This is going to make it so that they automatically move first, even on top of Tailwind. It's going to make it really interesting. We can do Leer, which makes it so that my opponent's Pokemon are 1 status less, so like defense wise, because it would do both and not just the one. We've got a couple of options here. That's really interesting. I want to do Hurricane so badly. That would be actually really good for Tornadus. But we have Bleak Wind Storm, which does both, and we're kind of relying on the speed down to kick in at that. Crash is not great. We also could also do Sunny Day, which doesn't really do anything for us specifically. It would really do well against Kyogre teams, but we're not seeing that currently. At least last season, I didn't see a lot of Kyogres. I saw a lot more Koraidons, but that doesn't mean that Kyogre Koraidon doesn't exist. It just means that you have Calyrex X, you have Koraidon X, you have Miraidon X, and a lot of times people are just running they're running Trick Room teams, so you don't really want to have a Pokemon that's super fast. You also don't want to have a Pokemon that's super slow. Anyone that is in between is actually pretty good in my opinion. But I also like to do Tailwind. In my perfect advice, if you can make a team that's pretty solid, that does both work well with Tailwind and then one that works well inside Trick Room, go with that. Me, I'm an idiot. So I'm obviously going to be running with Tailwind, and I want to be as fast as possible because I'm also very hyper offensive. So I think in my case, we run with Rain Dance. We're running with Rain Dance so that way we're not affected by weather, and because we'll automatically live with 1 HP because of the Sash. Terra Dark to make it so that we're not affected by other prankster type Pokemon, but I didn't want to do Taunt because if they bring out a Terra Dark Pokemon or a Dark Pokemon in general, they're going to ignore everything that I'm going to do anyway. So there's no way for me to really come back from that when that hits, right? Even if I was to bring out a brand new Pokemon that no one else has really used, that's going to be the thing. So now I have to answer the question of who is going to be in my 5th slot, which I would prefer to have a special attack, someone that can hit incredibly hard, but not very supporty-ish. I know that slot originally was taken up by my man, Raging Bolt, which I don't know where he went. He might be lost. Raging Bolt, where'd you go? Oh, there you are. Okay, so he was in the slot originally being Terra Electric, but we do have Pokemon like Ursaluna all over the place, which makes it so like this Pokemon literally can't do anything to attack them. So the other Pokemon I thought about using is maybe bringing in Walking Wake. Water Dragon really hits hard, special attacker, could possibly make a lot of waves in my particular team. The problem is I already have a water type, so I don't want to do a water type that's a special attacker. What typing am I missing? Someone can possibly hit maybe flying types, because I don't see one. Yeah, someone that can actually hit flying types. So instead of having like Raging Bolt, which is Assault Vest, kind of slow, we could maybe go with Raichu. We can also bring in the other super fast Pokemon, Regieleki. Regieleki is a Pokemon that is trained, ready to go. This is far my, okay. I was like, at least as far as I'm aware. Has Thunderbolt, Protect, Electro Web, and Terra Blast, and I have mine at Terra Ice because it was the greatest counter against Tornadus. Not, well, yes, Tornadus, but most likely Landorus. Landorus is a Pokemon that can also, take that slot too. We can change ours from the Therian form, which I can't see my, oh, there he is. We have him at Therian because we want the Intimidate, Choice Scarf, and we have him set with those moves, so Terra Flying, so that we can obviously use Terra Blast, Terra Flying. That would work incredibly well. In the event that that didn't work, what was going to be our next option? And that's where a lot of that other stuff went, right? If that makes any sense at all. I might just be rambling on, and if I am, I apologize. We're, like I said, we're building this team live, and it's something that I would focus on myself if we were to do this. But now, as you can see, I still need I need someone that can hit flying. I need someone that could possibly do damage against maybe fire types. Because if Urshifu goes down, I don't have anyone to be able to do that. Someone that could maybe deal with priority would also be good. So we have Farigiraf. I'll put this Pokemon over there. We have Regieleki that can fit in that slot. Screamtail might be interesting to do too. It's very psychic, but that doesn't answer my flying type problem. Could also go, want a special attacker. Could also go Iron Bundle. It is a water type, but it is an ice type, which does answer ground types. And it would answer my flying types because of Freeze Dry as well as Blizzard. It also has Helping Hand that can also do quite a bit of damage. Do I have anyone to answer Dragon? No, not really. So that could be the reason why we bring Walking Wake. Because, you know, if I'm going to bring Iron Bundle, we're going to bring them over here. If I'm going to bring Iron Bundle, which is Water Ice, we could also look at Walking Wake as a potential person. Now, I know that I just kicked Raging Bolt off the team, but we can bring him back because he is a special attacker and does quite a bit of damage to Pokemon of that size. We can also maybe look at Sylveon. Sylveon's pretty interesting with the special attacker. We could bring in Fluttermane. Now, Fluttermane gets access to, it is a, Power Gem. Okay, so we can use it to take down flying types too. Also has access to Mythical Fire. So there's that option. We do not have a fairy type, but we do have a ghost type. So this is where we kind of get into like the realms of like dual typing, and we try not to have more than 2 of the same typing on the team. Flying, fighting. This is actually steel fighting, psychic ghost, grass fire, fighting, and water. So right now we have 2 Pokemon that share the same typing, which is Urshifu and Zamazenta. So we don't really want to do that if we can help it at all. We could also, we don't want to use Tornadus. Tornadus is actually a really bad idea. We could, I mean, Moltres would be a really good pick as well, but do we run into a lot of Pokemon that is weak against dark types? Yes and no. Yes, for like Indies and people that like to do redirection, but no, because if I can't KO them in one hit, which like Indie itself with the Psychic Seed gets that special defense boost, that's not going to really do anything to Moltres, and I don't really have a way to heal it up after that. So I don't think it's going to get a huge benefit, if you ask me. We could go, we could honestly go Torkoal. He would be incredibly strong, and it would set up the weather. It would ruin Urshifu, but it would really counter Trick Room teams. Like, oh, you want to use Calyrex Ice Rider? Yeah, no, you're not going to use that right in front of Torkoal because obviously Torkoal is going to take names really, really easily, especially with the Charcoal, the special attack boost that we have. I think it's like HP and special attack, which might need to change the IVs there, or the EVs, I'm sorry. But we could do that. For special attackers, we can also run our own Ursaluna, which is something that a lot of people do tend to use. There's my special shiny Pokemon. I'm so glad I got those. You could also use Golden Go for this slot. Now we could also forsake it and just go Grimmsnarl. We can use Grimmsnarl. He is a physical attacker, but what we would use him for is primarily set up for screens, which then is going to make these guys take far less damage, which means that they're going to survive quite a bit of hits and not really give a crap about who's on the other side. We have Pelipper that we can possibly use as well. Chimpao over here. Now, even though he's one of my staples, I do grab Chimpao quite often. Oops. And let's see, what Whimsy there. Let's see. There's also a really good special attacker. And again, we're trying to deal with flying types. Goldligo could do it because of like Nasty Plot as well as Shadow Ball, getting that little bit of a boost. It's not like flying types get resisted to like Make It Rain. Talonflame could, no one else really could though, so we can throw that up, but it is a ghost type, so that is something to consider as well. Ursaluna is just strong overall, super bulky Pokemon, and of course we've got our just special attack and HP, which isn't bad. It is not bad at all. It caps at 405. It's one of the stronger type Pokemon that we have. With the Rain Dance, I think Walking Wake would actually be good, but I'm really leaning towards Torkoal right now, even though we do have a fire type with Ogerpon. This is just a great counter for Trick Room teams, and then we can bring in Farigiraf for anti-priority, obviously. So we can just use Grimmsnarl for basic screens. I also do like reintroducing Raging Bull, even though he wasn't really good, or at least not a Pokemon that I used quite a bit, but he did get a boost in the sun, which does tend to happen quite a bit. And we do have access to like Thunderclap, which allows us to KO other Pokemon before they can, which then makes us think like, should we rely on priority ourselves, which we already do with Tornadus. Here's another good Pokemon. Ground types we have coverage for, not only with Ogerpon, but Urshifu. So it's like we got coverage for electric. We also got coverage for steel types, fire types. We can do taunts, and we're not taken away from priority, or at least like Entity Field and stuff like that. Yeah, it's really odd and interesting. I really want to use like these four are like my go-tos right now, just because like these four would be able to do it. Torkoal, what other moves do you get? You have Overheat, which is good. Shell Smash lowers its defenses, but it's a +2. Oh boy. Heat Wave, which also is a really good one. Clear Smog, that would actually really work with a lot of Pokemon until they go Terra Steel, and then it just kind of gets shafted. See, I don't really want to do this, right? We just shifted from Raging Bolt and Whimsicott to do something different, so I would like to see what this looks like. It is incredibly fast. We have Electro Web, which does a lot of the minus downs, but it is incredibly frail. So because it's frail and we have special attack and speed EVs attached to it, it's going to get KO'd, which is kind of forcing me to have a second or third sash target, which is not great. And we could do specs on this Pokemon, right? We have the Protect and the Terra Blast, but we could probably switch those moves to be something else, because we can do Explosion if we want to, Zap Cannon if we want to, Thunder Cage, traps the target inside, inflicts damage 4 to 5 turns. Like that could work. We could just do Extreme Speed or like Thunder Wave. Ancient Power is something that we can also use. Like the reason why I'm like suggesting some of these moves is because of the fact that this Pokemon, Regieleki, would literally be built 2 different ways. We can have it as a special attacker, or we can have it as a physical attacker. And because it's a mixed one, you can literally do both. It's not gonna say no to like hardly anything. But we could do it this way to answer our flying types. It would answer Bug's resistant to it. No, because it goes right back over to Raging Bolt. We have Raging Bolt and Regieleki, right? These 2 Pokemon are really good until you come against Pokemon that literally says no and resists it. If I see one Garchomp or one Ursaluna, either one of these Pokemon just get shafted, because now I have to use a move that does not work. Now I could use Terra Blast being Terra Ice, but I want to use my Terra on Urshifu or Ogerpon. And those 2 are really important to me. I don't really need to use it for Calyrex anymore unless I fight the Mirror. I don't need to use it on Tornadus. Unless I need to avoid a Whimsicott Encore nonsense. I don't really need to use it on Zama unless I need to get that little bit of boost for body press. Maybe, just maybe, the better Pokemon to pick is Farigiraf. Farigiraf tells priority no, so no fake outs, no sucker punches, which that would help Calyrex quite a bit. We can teach it Helping Hand. Instead of having like Trick Room, we can reverse Trick Room if we want to, or have Imprison replaced by something else. Like, do we need Imprison for this Pokemon? No, not really. I mean, we've been in and out of Trick Room the entire time of like last regulation, even last season, and we weren't struggling too much in that, as long as that we're not setting up Tailwind and then they get Trick Room and then that's like the worst. But having anti-priority is probably something that is reasonable as an expectation. So we could go this way. It does not answer our flying problem though. So that's, yeah. It's either like I get someone that can super affect flying types, like a rock type user, a lightning type user, or electric or something like that. I mean, I could literally walk in with like Hisuian Arcanine, Pokemon that we've used quite a bit before. We used Intimidate instead of Rockhead. We did both, and it was really, really awesome using Rockhead. If I'm using Rockhead, I have to use Sableye for Gravity. But I can also set up Gravity with Calyrex, which is probably what we're going to switch out Imprison for, because I like Astro Barrage and I like Psychic. We could potentially just go with just the Shadow Ball. We can also go Nasty Plot. We could just go Haze. So no boosts for anybody. But Gravity is a move that Calyrex can learn. And it looks like I have to use the TM for that, but it is right there. It can learn Gravity, which is really, really interesting. It also knows Pain Split. I had no idea. So there's something. Expanding Force is also one that we could also use for this Pokemon. Phantom Force, although that's a physical attack, but it's not really going to matter too much. It's just getting it off the field so it can't be hit with anything. Like I said, Shadow Ball, we can Encore. One of the fastest Pokemon in the game getting hit with Encore is pretty dope. We can also do the same thing with Regieleki, I think. I think he gets Encore. He does not, unless I missed it. Nope, but he does get Eerie Impulse, which that is also a good one. Do you get it in here? Nope, you do not, which is probably the best. Imagine if this little guy can learn freaking Encore. Jesus, that would be the worst. Can use Electric Terrain if you didn't have Miraidon. You can use that way. It's gonna be super, super fast. Eerie Impulse drops your special attack 2 stages, which is not bad, obviously. You could also go that route. But Calyrex right now has a place on my team since it does really, really well. If I wanted just to completely skip Calyrex and not have it on my team, I could go Kyogre again, or I could possibly switch the team around even further and pick a different restricted, which I put them all here, even these 3. You can be wrong. Start with these 2. But yeah, I can obviously maybe use Palkia. Palkia would be a really good one to pick. We can go Mew. Probably not this one, just like a different one. We could try Giratina and stuff like that. Some of these Pokemon are not trained right now. Maybe use them later on. And I know that I want to use Rayquaza. I think a Rayquaza set would be fire for what we would want to try to do, but I don't think this is the best time to use it. It is anti-weather. I don't know what this season's kind of reflecting like, but we can use that if we so choose. Let's see what else. Yeah, there's a lot of options that we have here. Since we're kind of, I don't want to say like we're going back to like my easier routes. It's just this pick, I need to know what I'm gonna go with. This is more of an offensive build, I think. No, it's more defensive. It's more of like a defensive build. So Throat Spray helps with Hyper Voice, but it's a spread move and it's not gonna do anything if someone has Wide Guard, which is not great. So what should, yeah, Burgraph's a good choice. Raging Bolt's a good choice. Watermaid's a good choice. Haven't really decided on Grimmsnarl yet. Probably not gonna pick it though. Golden Go, not at all. Not Pelipper. We have a water type. I'm kind of thinking Regieleki We could go with Ursaluna. I'm really thinking about Torkoal. Not Moltres. Moltres would boggle our team down. Although I don't really have anyone that's specific dark type, but I'm not running up against a lot of psychic types either. Probably not Iron Bundle either. I'm probably not going to take Walking Wake either. For almost the same reason. Almost being like, do I want to have 2 water types? 2 water, 2 fighting, and then a dragon? The dragon would be dope, but I just don't know. So this is more bulky. This is more offensive. It's got some bulk to it. It's primarily able to counter Calyrex shadows, but it doesn't do anything against Ice Riders at all. You're more offensive, you're offensive, you're offensive, and so are you. So the only bulk Pokemon I have is Farigiraf at this point. So for me, wanting to be hyper offensive, the best pick that I would do would be Fluttermane or Regieleki. Regieleki doesn't have an item. And again, we could do Specs. We could also do Scarf just to make it super fast. Start off with the Electro Web, or we can just go Specs and do the Electro Web and just do a ton of damage while lowering my opponent's speed by 1 stage, which just gets us set up automatically. And we just, you know, go YOLO at that point, even be Terra Electric just to kind of just even go further beyond that. But if we end up going against an Ursaluna, what does that mean for the rest of the team? It's we're kind of like we're betting there. With Fluttermane, we get the booster energy boost, get Protect, Dazzling Gleam. We take down the dragons for sure. But is it going to be enough to take down what else the dragons are going to be representing? And I don't know if we're going to have that, especially now that we have Tornadus on our team with Rain Dance. So booster energy would be perfect, but is it going to be what we need? Plus it is it would be a ghost type on our team. So we have 2 fighting, 2 ghost, and a fairy type. That does answer the dragon problem, which I think is more prevalent than the flying type problem. But I'm also just thinking of like Landorus's, because those would be the ones that I would have to counter. Dragon for sure. I would have to worry about Astral Barrage, which Fluttermane would just automatically outspeed all Calyrexes, Shadow Riders especially, and even Regieleki would be able to do it just base. I think I want to try Regieleki. We're going to give that a shot. So we're going to change the move set. I'm going to move these guys down here. These are potential people that we're going to be testing with for this particular season. Since we're still in J, I thought would be an F, but it looks like F was for live tournaments. So there's that. But anyway, we're going to try Regieleki. So we're going to add this little guy to the team. Maybe in between these 2, which may or may not work at all. Next up, oops, didn't want to do that. Next up, we're going to try to pick an item for the 2. Since we're going to go Regieleki, let's go ahead and let's do Specs. I really want to try Specs. I just want to do as much damage as I possibly can. And we're going to change the move sets for Regieleki. That way we don't have Protect, we don't have Terra Blast. I mean, Terra Blast would work, but we are going to go that first. And then we will switch over to Calyrex. Calyrex probably have a little bit more interesting picks. So Thunderbolt's fine. Electrobolt's fine. Can we use TMs? There's nothing here. Oh, Volt Switch? Hello? Volt Switch actually would be a really, really good pick here. Because then we can go over Terra Blast. Yeah, we'll do that. Swift, that's a special. Never misses. That might actually work in our favor in this game. Electro Ball. The faster the user is than the target, the greater the move power. I mean, Electro Ball does sound pretty interesting. If we went Scarf and then Electro Ball, we'd be incredibly fast. We would sit what? I don't even know. But we do need something over Protect. So we can do Thunder Cage, 80 power, Shockwave. Its target jolt equipment never misses. Made 60. It's no better than Thunderbolt, right? Is that what that is? Thunderbolt's 90, 55. This has a 5% chance of missing. This is 70 with 100% accuracy. It's just weird. Like, I like Volt Switch. I'm probably going to keep it with like this since I don't know what to replace protect with? I mean, I could go Thunder. Also do Hyper Beam. I don't know. That's weird. I'm having bad vibes with that one, actually. There's like nothing I can really pick for this Pokemon. Like, I do like the idea of Electro Ball, but if I go Electro Ball, it's not going to really help me out too much. Yeah, we'll stick with Protect for right now. I don't know what else to pick, to be honest. But Volt Switch is a really good pick for this Pokemon, for sure. We could also change the Terra type to from Ice over to anything. Actually, we could. No, I'll keep it. There. So the thought process I have for Regieleki specifically is that I take Protect out, put Terra Blast. Terra Blast would obviously be our normal type move, which would do like a ton of damage. Or I can be Terra Ice to be able to take care of some of the Ice type Pokemon or the Ice type options that we could pick. But no, we're not going to do that. It's not a good one. Not a lot of Pokemon are weak against Ice types. I mean, Flying, like I said before, Ground, Flying and Ground. Is Rock? No, I think Ice is weak against Rock. It's weird. It's completely weird, but we're going to try that. Next up, we're going to go with Calyrex. This is probably the hardest one. I don't want to give it Life Orb. I think Life Orb would do really, really well, but we do have a move that we need to swap. And I want to keep Terra, but I don't think the Terra is needed unless I want to go back and forth between the two. Psychic Seed would also be really, really interesting to use on Calyrex, especially if I have to fight against a Pokemon like Entity. Could also go Grassy Seed, which then would give me like a huge, like a 1-stat defense boost, which may or may not allow me to survive a hit. I'm not sure if that's going to be a thing. I could also do Assault Vest, make him Protect, and the other move. I can't remember what it's called. It's not Imposter. Anyway, it could turn those moves off, which then would force me to use 4. So that's an option. Could go Weakness Policy, but I'm not living anything specific. I'm not using Specs. I want to use something else. I can't use Sash. Spell Tag would also help. That's a 20% boost. Let's give it a band. It's just a choice band. It'll be perfectly fine, right? Perfectly fine. We're getting into the areas where it doesn't make sense. Okay, so I think I am going to make it. I think I have to. I could give it a plate. You know what? No, let's do the spooky plate. Let's do that. 30% and drains HP versus 20% boost of ghost type moves, and it doesn't give me like a down plate. Like, yeah, it makes it so that I can't use Arceus. Oh no, I can't make ghost type Arceus. But anything else, I think I'm fine, to be honest. And I think we're pretty solid here outside of Regieleki. We do need to change in Prison, now that I remember what it's called. We're going to change it to something else. I don't want to use Draining Kits. That was the worst decision of my life. Solar Beam would also be really, really interesting here, but it's not going to be the best. We could do Heal Pulse. We could. Like, Calyrex is incredibly fast, and I could spend a turn healing another Pokemon, especially, well, yes. Okay, let's talk this out. If I use Calyrex Heal Pulse on a Pokemon that is obviously faster than it would go right after that Pokemon attacks, which may or may not work. Or I could potentially just use it to heal and skip over a Sucker Punch. That could be a thing. Could also use Giga Drain. That takes care of water types, ground types, not necessarily bug types, but I mean, it gets health back, and this is up to half. But it's better than Draining Kiss, which is restored by over half, which is like 75%, but its base power is 50, and Giga Drain is 75. And if used in grassy terrain, it's actually higher because it gets a 1.3 boost. So there's that. As well as we can also use Haze, which would be super beneficial, especially to Pokemon that we know want to use Sucker Punch. We could just use Haze instead to get rid of all the negative status effects. So Pokemon like Goldengo with the Make It Rain instead of it being -1, it becomes a regular, just straight Close combat for Urshifu on our side would benefit greatly from that too. Question is, do I want to use this over an attacking move, or do I want to use this over like a different else? Because I can also use Nasty Plot over in Prison, and I can just instantly give myself like a massive boost with Psychic. I want to try it. Excuse me, Nasty Plot first. We'll go Nasty Plot, Haze, and then we'll do Giga Drain, because Calyrex is supposed to attack. That's his job. He's not to be like the person that could survive hits. And if I want Regieleki to do something like that, I can make him not spect and then start changing him that way. We want these Pokemon to survive more than one turn, and we also want them to do as much as physically possible so that we can actually start playing the game just a little bit more fun. All right, so the team looks solid in my opinion. You guys can let me know in the comments down below whether you agree with me or not. But this is like my first time building a team live with you guys, so let me know if you guys like something like this. Kind of gives you what I'm thinking of when building teams. Although my Pokemon are built EV and IV wise, because we're at least I hope to God that everyone's hyper trained. Okay, we are. I've done that a couple of times already. But it gives you guys a glimpse of what I'm actually trying to do. If I want to build something a little bit more bulkier, obviously we have Farigiraf that can be able to do that and stop Pokemon from using Trick Room. But we also need to do things differently so that we can actually start taking advantage of the typings that we do have, if that makes any type of sense. We do need to be able to counter faster Pokemon like Miraidon and like slower Pokemon like Lunala, as well as Calyrex Ice Rider. Since we're still in Regulation J, our stuff that we see on the rank ladder is going to be completely different than what we see in actual physical live tournaments today, which honestly, if you ask my opinion, is kind of crap. If we're going to be seeing anything in live tournaments like regionals, internationals, worlds, the rank ladder system should reflect something like that, or at least give us a chance to go, okay, I want to play on the ranked ladder, right? And then I should be able to go ranked battles and then pick from here double battles, and then pick on this screen which one that I want to focus on, because I think that's what a lot of people would actually get a lot of practice in. If you tell me in physical tournaments like locals and all this other stuff is in Regulation F, I want to play in Regulation F. That's what everyone is going to be practicing with. That's what everyone is going to be on Smogon for. That's what everyone is going to be literally looking at. So I think having that as an option would have been like better for everyone in the competitive world of Pokemon. Having your online ranked battle be a completely different regulation than what you see physically in actual tournaments, I think it's a huge step backwards. And I'm only saying that because I want to see what everyone else is playing right now, because I'm not in tournaments and I don't plan on competing in 2026. I think that's what the season's called. And since I don't really plan on competing in 2026, it makes it really, really hard for me to go, yeah, this is what this is, this is what this is, this is what this is. Do you still win matches having no restricted legends? Yes, that's 100% still a possibility, and 100% still available for anyone out there to do today. I've lost a couple, and I don't want to take anything away from that, right? More power to anyone that can absolutely do that. Now, here's where I disagree with the regulations being different. I have to deal with the legendaries. I have to deal with like the Arceus. I have to deal with the Kyogres, the Zamas, the Calyrexes. And in essence, it's not bad, but I want to play against the players that push me further into planning that I'm not used to. And I want to know what other people are thinking about when they build their teams. And to me, that's very, very, very important. But anyways, I'm taking up way too much of your guys' time. So I want to thank you guys for watching up to this point. The team is built, ready to go. And as you guys saw, we're going to come back out of this one. We're going to give this one a shot. We're not running our typical build or our like speedy handiwork of Pokemon that we do tend to use, but that doesn't mean that we won't have access to any other ideas later on down the road. What we're going to be doing tomorrow, because this is going to come out Thursday, we're going to get prepared for the team and have them try it on the ranked ladder and see how far we can go. If it works, well, awesome. And if it doesn't, well, we're going to go back to the drawing board and see what we can come up with. There are a couple of things that I'm worried about right off the bat. Obviously, Ursaluna being all over the place to where Regieleki literally can't do anything, just like Raging Bolt didn't. And I still have to worry about Trick Room because my Pokemon are still really fast, and that's how I tend to play. I could also switch out for Torkoal, which then makes the Weather War a little bit more manageable for me when going up against Kyogre. But it's actually worse for me going against Koraidon. It actually would also damage Urshifu quite a bit unless I change the Mystic Water to the Utility Umbrella, which then weather effects don't affect me whatsoever, which kind of defeats the purpose almost. And then obviously we have Rain Dance so that we can have more focus on Tornadus, and after using Tailwind and just trying to make so that they can't get KO'd right away from several different types of Pokemon. But we still also do have to worry about priority, because priority is a thing and it's going to suck, which is why we have Paragraph, which can also set up Trick Room and stop it if we need to. It becomes be a major problem. Or we could just go above board and just be like, all right, Fluttermane, here's 307. You have to deal with this now. There's a lot of options that we can go through. I don't know what's going to be the best one, but this regulation, at least this season, we're going to see what we can do with this team that's right in front of us. For now, that's all that I've got. Thank you for watching. If you made it to this point, shout outs to you. Appreciate you. Thank you for letting me know that you made it this far. Leave a comment down below, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the like button. All those help out the channel quite a bit. We're still trying to hit 600 subs by the end of the year, and I think we can hit that number with your guys' help. Other than that, that's all that I got. Brand new video, brand new VGC season, going to be starting up tomorrow. So until next time, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you then. Peace.